Hello there, NVA fans, and welcome to the 2023 NVA Championship Event Weekend here in Long Beach, California. I am Noah Chastron alongside by Matt Prosser. We have Haley Henderson on the sidelines, Nick England on the court, and Ira Thor joining us a little bit later. Welcome to this first round matchup of the playoffs, the San Diego Wild taking on the Utah Stingers. Matt, what are you expecting for this matchup?
Well, Noah, this is going to be a good battle here between these two teams. They just faced off against one another in the last event, with San Diego winning the two sets to begin the match, and then Utah pulling off the reverse sweep, winning the next three to take that victory. Although everyone's position in the playoffs were already set, look to see San Diego try to get a little retaliation perhaps against the Stingers. But meanwhile, this is the biggest Stingers team we've seen all season, finally all here together. A lot of weapons on the pins through the middle. This is going to be an entertaining match for sure.
And that's certainly an attitude changer. That last match of the season, the reverse sweep, I was saying it should be a Utah Stingers sponsored or patented reverse sweep. Always a team that starts slow and then creeps up and gets you afterwards. That maybe gives this team some confidence or gives the Wild some revenge on their mind, as you mentioned.
Definitely, and that was a weekend that the San Diego Wild maybe didn't have their best matches either. A couple of their players were missing. And, again, like you just said, a great opportunity for them to sort of right the ship, get a little payback, play the style of volleyball that Coach Nick England has been trying to implore on them all season long, and, turn the tides a little bit, if you will.
Absolutely, and for this Utah Stingers team, the biggest roster we've seen, as you mentioned, maybe to date in this year's events. Very strong on the pin side, the wing pin hitter side. Maybe not as much so in the middle in terms of depth, but I think the most consistent we'll see from the roster standpoint for this Stinger team.
Certainly, we've got a Novo Romero, Jorge Mencia on the outsides. One of the Cobran brothers is out there on the court as well, and that other pin hitter. JJ Rosa is going to be playing libero. And then you've got Mikhail Hoyt through the middle along with Fabian Rahena and Reed Chilton as the setter, as we're seeing the introductions of the starters for the San Diego Wild over here, Noah.
Absolutely. It looks like we have Brandon Rattray, of course, always with the Wild, Uchenna Ofoha, Joel Auerkamp. Looks like setting today. We have Christopher Griebenau. We have Josh Duarte also in the middle. And Lior Schiffer. Just kidding. Sam Berge on the outside. Along with Brandon Rattray, maybe not playing his most natural position, normally a right side, playing on that outside spot today.
Well, San Diego Wild, you might be asking, where's that one key player through the middle for them by the name of Matt Knigge, NVA All-Star, champion last year with the Las Vegas Ramblers. He's not with the team today as he's taking full advantage of an opportunity to be in the USA Volleyball Gym and earn a spot on their Norseca roster coming up. But we have been told that he will be here through the weekend. But this match, he had to take advantage of that opportunity.
And an absolutely understandable opportunity to take to get those reps and that opportunity with the USA team.
Certainly.
Clearly a deserving player, as we have many in this league, but someone who has been a bright shining spot of the Wild, of the Ramblers last year, and of this NVA.
Very much so. And I was actually speaking with assistant coach Matt Furbringer yesterday about Matt Knigge and how it's a great opportunity for him to get a look of and show off a little bit of his talents and bring some of that NVA to the USA Volleyball Gym as well.
And it's great to see him get this spotlight because, remember, last year before he joined the Ramblers, he was maybe considering taking a break or retiring or wasn't taking volleyball as seriously, sort of was revitalized in the United States here with the NVA, and now is getting spotlights like this. It's fantastic to see a player who's absolutely deserving of it.
And you know what? There's a lot of high-level volleyball players in the United States that would absolutely relish an opportunity to play professionally here domestically in the NVA.
And I know he's going to make the most of it, but he is confident that his team will be moving on for Saturday because he's planning to fly in or come down here to Long Beach. We're underway in this first playoff match. The serve by Reed Chilton. And the center dump by Griebenau. See who's sleeping on the first play of the game.
I know it's early on, but you have to know when the opponent has a front row setter.
And that's someone who did their homework and knows the Stinger. They start a little slow, so maybe catch them snoozing.
That is a bit of the MO for Utah, as they are slow starters.
Duarte gets his own block dig in the middle, swings again, but is blocked again. And Novo Romero, number 15 for the Stingers, back to serve. Laces the jump, passed by Eisenberg. Rattray off high hands, scooped up by J.J. Rosa, and put away by Sam Coburn. Berge can't come up with the dig.
Good pressure right there to start, Noah, by the jump serve from Inovo Romero, one of Utah Stingers' more experienced and sort of one of those guys that's got to be a rock for them in this match if they want to get the win.
And that's the thing, this Stingers team is loaded up with experience. You'll see a lot of smart and technical plays by this Stingers team. Romero sends that one into the net, trying to apply that service pressure, 1 for 1 in terms of serves in and errors. Early in a match, maybe something you can live with right now.
Yeah, both teams still sort of feeling each other out. Want to find that nice rhythm from the inline, though.
Rattray, a dangerous server, back for the Wild. Goes with the off-speed. Dug by Rosa. Swing in the middle by Mikel Zebra-Hoyt, but he is blocked. Duarte. Go ahead.
Sorry, Noah. Rattray doing a good job of just spinning that one in like we were talking about. Good pressure from the inline that's in. It was a good pass, but then just the misconnection there from Chilton to Hoyt through the middle.
Backside here to Mency, who tools off the high hands of Berge.
That's what I love to see about Jorge Mencia. We've been watching him play for the Stingers now for several years. Talk about experience. The cliche volleyball IQ just through the roof, right? Goes up, hand down, faces away, and just tools the block out for a point.
And there are rare times you see him take an approach thinking, I'm going to bounce this one to the floor. He's thinking, how can I chisel this to get a point any way I can? Looks like a misconnection there by Berge, going too far down the line outside. Hoyt serving now for the Stingers. 4-3 game early, Stingers ahead. Float carries just long by Zebra.
Very interesting strategy to be serving at Josh Eisenberg, the libero for San Diego Wild.
Hard to say if that's a missed serve location or if that was a strategy, maybe get him deep. Either way, it's long. Duarte, a bit of a miss hit on the jump serve. Dug up by the Stingers. Rattray keeps alive on the Wild side. Free ball for the Stingers. Can they take advantage? And it goes through the fingers of Fabian Rohina.
Well, that's a bit unfortunate for Utah. I mean, getting a free ball from your opponent and then it slips through your hands as a middle blocker. That one stings a little bit for the Stingers, Noah.
Stings for the Stingers, and that's one J.J. Rosa, the libero, is saying, hey, just let me get that. I'll be behind you. I'll pass it for you. Off-speed pass by Rosa. Coburn sneaks it past, dug by Rattray. Berge finds some open floor in front of Rosa, gets the kill from the outside.
Now Berge gets a little redemption after that first attack. Hitting air down the line, goes cross court. Finds the open space.
First match of the day, of the morning. The player's going to be finding the rhythm, finding the court a little bit, getting comfortable, but we'll see this clean up as this match goes on. Backset to Jorge Mencia, but it looks like he hits the pin before it crosses the plane of the net. He's arguing for a touch off the block into the pin, but it looks like they saw pin contact on the initial swing.
There's definitely a touch off of Berge. He's holding his left hand, but the real question is,
what hit first?
What made contact with the antenna, and what was the timing of it? And at this point, I mean, it's a 7-4 potential lead. Don't know if it's really good to burn a challenge this early in a set, especially this early in the match.
Yeah, it's one of those where I don't know if it's worth the challenge, but he thinks he had the best angle and is confident, but it looks like they're not going to take the challenge. They're going to keep that in their pocket and play on, just down 3 points early in set one. Duarte, a side spinner, finds the line, gets the ace serve.
Josh Duarte, not known for a lot of power from the inline, but just places that one perfectly.
It's not the power, it's the finesse. The cut shot jump serve had them frozen on the Stinger side. This one passed by Coburn. Tight, set, and put away by Mency, and he stares back through the net.
Great against the flow set there from Reed Chilton. Running towards his left, towards the camera, then jacking it back overhead to get that block spread out. Mencia was ready for it and scores.
Mencia now back to try and do some damage from the service line. Puts a jump serve in, passed well by Berge. Right side attack, ooh, an hour camp set just a little bit too tight, comes flying into the net.
Yeah, dangerous play there as that set from Griebenau. Noah, like you said, just drifted pretty much right over to the other side, and Auerkamp touches the net and also went under, so centerline violation as well. Two negatives do not make a positive.
They do not make a positive. That is good laws of math and physics. Set back to Auerkamp, and he tools it off the hands all the way through the back of the court. A little redemption. That's something you love to see from either your setter or your hitter. Whoever makes the mistake, let's go right back to what we just did and right the wrong.
Yeah, I say that's more Griebenau making sure he finds that right window right overhead after the first one went over the net. That one right where Auerkamp needed it.
Auerkamp's jump goes off the tape. Perfect pass. And the pipe or Bick attack from the Stingers, and Novo Romero gets the kill off the high hands.
Yeah, that's a nice look there for the Stingers. Not something that they really utilize very often, that Bick attack, but something that has to be used as this match goes on. You've got to have multiple attackers, especially out of the back row. Good connection there with Romero and Chilton.
And that's something you can illustrate when you have that perfect pass like they did, really have all setting and hitting options on the table. Coburn's serve goes long. Wild holding on to that 3-point lead, 10-7 here early in the first set of match one of our NVA playoff weekend.
How many matches are there today, Noah?
There are 4 matches today. We have our 4 quarterfinals matchups, our 2 semifinals tomorrow on Saturday, then our third place match, and our championship match on Sunday.
And third place game as well.
Yes, third place and championship match on Sunday.
Single elimination format.
Yep.
Winners of these quarterfinal matches move on and advance to the semifinals. The losers today get to wrap up their season and hit the practice gym and prepare for 2024.
It is win or go home time. Float passed well by Eisenberg. Misconnection in the middle with Ofoha.
That is something that the Wild definitely will have to figure out here because they need to activate their middle attackers. So far, they've not been able to do so yet.
And what did you see on that connection? Was the set low? Was someone early? What was the
that set was
there?
just a little slow and not quite all the way up to the net for the high-flying Ofoha.
So it needs to be shot towards his hands a little quicker, a little higher.
In there, yeah.
Well, that one's fired in by Brandon Rattray. Almost comes and flies up to us here in the booth.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what Brandon Rattray does is he crushes the ball every chance he gets. Very explosive outside hitter.
Middle attack blocked, but dug up by Rosa. Right side attack by Mency, and he's looking for a double call. Doesn't get it. Rattray gets the kill.
That was completely legal. Mencia arguing that was a double contact, but the first touch was on the block. And then Josh Duarte has the wherewithal to play the second ball. That's totally legal.
A little visually confusing. He tipped it, and on the way down from the block was that first touch, but that's still a block touch. Then he dug it, got the play, and Rattray ready to crush, as always. Ofoha's float is well passed to the outside for Romero, and he tools it off the block, flying to the right side of the court into the stands.
That's a nice high swing there by Novo Romero. Mencia still with a couple of extra words for our second official, Tony Chan, pleading his case, but just move on, Mencia. Go to the next play.
He strikes me as a guy who doesn't like admitting when he's wrong. And wrong hands, wrong time right there. Tooled off the tip swing there by the Wild. Point San Diego. Griebenau puts it in a hard float. Passed by Rosa. Outside set over to Mency. Gives himself a little head nod. Says, yeah, I could still do that.
Mencia's one of those players, right? He gets fired up when people start talking to him a little bit, or he doesn't get the call that he expects that he should get. He's able to manifest that into a little bit of an extra gear, which is fun to watch.
Certainly a bear you don't want to poke.
Or a stinger that you don't want to kick the nests.
Something like that.
Hive, something.
Oh, that tip almost goes backwards from the fingers of Mencia. And then Hauerkamp comes over on the left side and puts it OT over the block into the deep corner.
Great swing, but let's talk about that set from Josh Eisenberg. Running over nearly right next to our first official ladder. Gives a nice bump set. And Hauerkamp able to go down the line with the lefty. That was a good angle.
That's what you love to see from a good libero, always trying to find that second ball contact if needed and give their hitters a high, workable set. Coburn, bit of a miss hit, dug in the backcourt, sent to Berge on the right side, and he goes with the finesse shot.
Smart.
Slow and over the block.
Very smart choice there. Good vision by Sam Berge to see the open court, tipping it just over the blocker's hands and in front of the diving Reed Chilton at right back.
And while that attack might not be legal on the beach, that's certainly someone with a lot of beach knowledge, knowing when to go up and over the block. Middle attack, dug by Eisenberg. Sent to Berge with a tough angle, but he fits it in. Kept alive by Rosa. Wow, with another chance. Hauerkamp blocked on the right side. Back to Hauerkamp, offset and just too far off the net, missing that connection once again.
Interesting choice to go back-to-back overhead. Overhead sets from Griebenau just not very consistent right now for San Diego. They got to keep talking about that and get it ironed out. Also haven't seen any big attacks through the middle back position from Brennan Rattray yet.
Not a lot of back row attacks right now from this Wild squad. Berge on the outside, off the high hands, kept alive. Sent to the outside for Coburn, who kills it.
Nice back-to-back points there by Utah. Winning that long rally and then getting a nice touch on the block and able to convert it on the counterattack. Coburn from the left side has been pretty good so far.
Hoyt ready to drop in a float. Going for the short serve, scooped up by Eisenberg. And Berge, another slow roller. Showing off the arsenal of intelligent moves. And that will take us to our first technical timeout here. The San Diego Wild up 16-13. We'll be back in 50 seconds. And we're back here to set one. The San Diego Wild ahead 16-13 against the Utah Stingers. Got that 3-point lead early and has held on to it so far this set. Coburn on the outside, dug easily by Rattray. Perfect pass, goes to Ofoha in the middle, but he's scooped up. Back to Mencia, who puts it down on the right side.
Great play there by San Diego and Utah, but it was really Reed Chilton who jacks that set overhead again to Mencia. Realizes there's a mismatch. Mencia against Berge, and Mencia scores that point from the right side.
Chilton's setting decisions and setting quickness has been key early in this match for the Stingers. Great pass by Eisenberg. Over to the right side for Auerkamp, and he sneaks it through the block.
That one just rattling through Fabian Rojena's arms. Always a little tricky to block a left-handed hitter if you don't get a lot of looks at it in your practice gym, especially one that's 6'8" and attacks pretty high and hard like Joel does.
You could see Inoval Romero telling his blocker, that's okay, you're in the right spot, you'll get there. This one blocked, but dug up. Free ball chance for the Wild now. Outside back to Berge, and he finds the deep corner. Great swing and using every ounce and every inch of the court. And now, just a few points after our technical timeout, a timeout called by the Utah Stingers, down 18-14. We'll stay here as they take this 30-second timeout. What are you seeing from the Stingers, Matt, that they need to improve on to close this gap of the lead?
Well, they just got to play better floor defense through the backcourt. That's, to me, the difference maker right now. San Diego's getting a lot of second and third chance opportunities to attack because they're digging balls in the back row. Utah not quite digging as many attacks from San Diego. They've got a couple of balls rattle through their block. They've got to play some better defense in the backcourt and get themselves opportunities to score on the counterattack.
And something concerning for the Stingers, but a positive for the Wild, San Diego's not even playing their best right now. There's a lot of misset connections. There's not a lot going on in the back row offensively. They can still improve as well on their side of the court.
Yes, they can, absolutely.
Auerkamp's jumper goes into the net. That's a coach point for Coach Russ Holmes on the Stingers. Icing that server just a little bit. You keep track of your coach points, Matt, when you're on the sideline for the Stunners?
Maybe. To myself.
I've seen your notebook. I know you do. Keep the tallies.
Stats are always important.
Oh. Coburn responds with a tape serve of his own. Almost bounces over, but stays on their side. 19-15. Berge laces the jump. Off pass by Coburn. Over to Mency on the right side, and he's stuffed, and it lands in the court.
That all starts with service pressure. Noah, like we've been talking about, San Diego doing a good job keeping the ball in play, not with a ton of heat, but just putting it on a player and trying to get Utah out of system.
And it looked like Mencia was going to tool those outside hands, but Rattray very disciplined, keeping that in the court. Berge's serve goes high off the tape. Errant pass, and Chilton misses the net play ball wide.
Tough rotation right now for the Stingers with Chilton at middle front next to Fabian Rojena. If they don't get a good pass, they really only have two options, and it's front row to Romero or back row to Mencia. So they're going to take their second timeout to talk about it right now.
We'll take a quick breather and be back for the conclusion of set number one. And we're back here, set one, San Diego Wild extending their lead up now 21-15. Berge's jump serve passed well by the Stingers. Romero is blocked, but it's out of the court.
Ooh, thought I saw maybe a touch on the Stinger player after that, or maybe even the ball on the line, but no arguments coming, so just missing on that block point.
From my view here, I thought that ball was hitting the line as well, and Eisenberg of the Wild said the same thing, but they're at a point. No need to challenge that right now. 5-point cushion, play on. Perfect pass by Rattray in the middle for Ofoha, but he's dug, and Chilton just knuckles it over.
And still for the San Diego Wild, not able to produce a point through the middle. That pass was on the dime from Rattray, and Ofoha just couldn't get it down.
Something they're clearly going to continue to work on throughout this match, establishing that middle connection, both front row and back row. Oh, well.
My ball's up still.
It's alive. It's all over the place, and now it is out of the boundaries of the court. Rattray going down the line, catching a shoulder. Was that Coburn's shoulder?
It was Mencia.
Mencia's shoulder.
Mencia's shoulder. Couldn't get out of the way fast enough.
You can see him motioning. He tried to do the chicken wing, and it just was all a little bit too fast. 22-17. Ofoha serving. Perfect pass. Through the middle, Mikkel Zebra-Hoyt gets the kill. Not an explosive play through the middle, but a sound and well-timed one.
And effective, Noah.
Sound and effective. Chilton serves, drops short. Berge passes it over to Rattray, who hammers it with some authority.
That was a fun little play. They ran a faster set to the pin. You could hear Rattray calling for it, expecting that really fast go set all the way to the antenna. Catches the blockers by surprise as well.
Outside set to Mencia off the high hands. Chance for the Wild. Back set, Auerkamp off the hands and in the court, setting up set point here for San Diego.
All about that deflection. A three-man block there by the San Diego Wild slows the attack down, and then a really nice dig leads to a right side attack and point.
Perfect pass in the middle. Back set to Romero. Blocked, dunked over by Duarte, but then he gets tooled off the high hands by Romero.
Just unfortunate that time for San Diego. Good heads-up play by Anovo. Keep this first set going here.
Set point number 2. Romero back to serve. And he rips a jump serve ace. Not a single move there by the San Diego Wild back line.
Got to roll the dice on this one, Noah. You're down by 4. It's set point. Nothing to lose. Go back. Give yourself a high aggressive toss and rip it.
And that's what he's doing. Let's see if he can match it with the second serve. And that one goes just long, letting it rip as you mentioned, letting this one slip away. 25-20, San Diego Wild led the whole way through and takes the set 1 victory. We'll take a quick break and be back with set number 2 in just a minute.
trying to hope for that reverse sweep. What do you think it's going to take to turn it around this next set?
I think just by eliminating some of our unforced errors, I think if we do that, I think we'll be in good shape. Just got to keep our service errors down as well. I think we just kind of tweak a few of those things, those unforced errors, I think we'll be really, really good. So. Yeah.
Right on. In that first time out, we heard Reed Chilton say that he wanted his team to step it up. Was that referring to level of play, or was it energy on the court?
I think just all around, just, trying to bring the energy on our side and just kind of motivate our guys. And so it's always good to have leadership that Reed has, that he brings to our team. And so, no, I think he's just trying to fire us up, and I think it helps. So it's awesome, yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens in this next set. Thank you.
All right,
Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Haley, for that great insight. We appreciate talking with Russell Holmes every time we can. The subtle dig to his face about typical Stingers fashion, dropping that first set.
Yeah, he got that one too. He heard that.
Which, hey, if you're looking at the books, she's not wrong.
She's not wrong.
We've
She's not wrong.
mentioned it throughout this first set that they are a slow starting team.
Yes, they are. They are. And that is factual. As Russell Holmes looks at the statistics sheet, he can see, yes, that they did, in fact, lose that first set like they have done many times before this season. But it's not how you start. No, it's how you finish. It's a best 3 out of 5 match for a reason. Stingers know all about pulling off the reverse sweeps. So
Yeah, and if you look at this stat sheet, not a lot of separation from the Wild to the Stingers. Similar attack percentage, 46%, 43% for the Stingers. The difference here, and we mentioned it, not a lot of blocking or terminal blocks going on. Wild with 2, Stingers with 0 in that first set. That might be one of the slight differences.
5 service errors in favor of the Stingers definitely hurts them. And if you look at the reception numbers, 75% good passes for the Wild versus 57% for Utah. That's a little bit of a telltale sign that results in points on that third contact attack.
And that's the key right there, right? It's a simple game, serving and serve receive. You do those things well, you put yourself in a good spot to win. If you don't, you got a tall task ahead. Set number 2 underway. Griebenau starts it with a float. Perfect pass. Chilton sets the middle to Hoyt. Kept alive by the Wild, and it's a wild play. And shut down and sent out of bounds. Point for the Stingers.
I see where you were going with that one, Noah, and you almost got more of it to execute, but that wild play goes the way of the Stingers that time.
They didn't follow my broadcast direction, which is fine.
Now they can't hear you.
We cannot control what happens on the court. We can only report on it. As there is a wet spot being cleaned up. Again, this was not planned. I did not announce this into existence. They're cleaning that up. All natural, all live. 1-0 lead here, early set 2 for the Utah Stingers. Chilton back to serve. Puts in a float, attacks Rattray, low pass, sent to the outside. Auerkamp blocked. Looks like he went tight under the net again and got a piece of Hoyt. Dangerous play right there. Looks like Hoyt shaken up a little bit with that ankle. Some collision either. I don't know if they were landing on each other or just bumping in as they both jumped, but taking a second to walk that one off. Gives the thumbs up, says he's good. They shake hands under the net, and we're ready to play on. 2-0 Stingers. Eisenberg's pass set to the outside. Auerkamp, and he delivers.
Auerkamp, the lefty hitting on the left side. We talked about the angles of attack from a left-handed hitter. Even changes it up more when he's on the left side. That was a good swing outside the block and into Area 6.
Not an easy set left-hander on the left side, but even harder to make that blocking move. And just maybe a missed toss there by Rattray and a hefty misconnection. That serve goes long. Enoval Romero, number 15, back to serve for Utah. Let's see if he can apply that service pressure we saw early in set 1. And rips one well passed by Berge, sent back out to him, and he finds the open court one-on-one block.
That is a situation for Utah that they wanted to see. An out-of-system pass, high ball to the left side, but then their blocking breaks down and only one blocker goes up. Gives the advantage right back to Berkey.
Maybe Hoyt still a little shaken up from that collision under the net, not getting all the way out there, even though it was a out-of-system pass and a high set. Duarte serve well passed. Back row attack, the big from Romero off the hands of Ofoha for the kill. And that's something, as we mentioned in the first set, they can take advantage of a little bit more, involve that back row big attack, really on both sides, but something the Stingers want to use a lot. Float perfectly past. Our camp unloads on the right side.
It's going to make it really difficult for the Stingers to slow down this San Diego offense because they're passing the ball so well. They've got 3 attackers holding the block and defense in their positions, and they can't make the adjustments.
And we were discussing pregame, which Our camp are we going to see today? He's had such high moments in this season and some relatively subpar, and right now we see him really warming up. Back row attack called here on the Stingers, so that back row violation, I should say, on their attack called by the Stingers. Now tying things at 4-4.
Need to see some fight right now out of Utah. Had a good lead here. I know it's early in set number 2, but after losing the first set, they've got to show some character here.
Miss hit on the serve by Our camp goes long and wide. Something is in question. I don't know if they need to clean up a dry spot on the court or just to get a new ball. But it looks like they're ready to go. You can see a serve passed by Rattray. Set to the middle to Ofoha. Picked up by Cobrin. Goes to Mencia on the back row right side attack, and he missed that one completely, and he lets his team know it. No touch.
Well,
I missed it.
Man, San Diego got away with that one there because the connection still through the middle with Ofoha, and Griebenau is not connecting. A chance for the Stingers, but it leads to the attack error out of bounds.
Berge lets a jump serve rip off the top tape. Back row attack back to Menzi. Goes off the block, maybe off the head of Uchenna Ofoha, tooling him for the point. Again, nice to see that setter go back to his hitter who just had the error. Let him right the wrong, get the ship going in the right direction. Sam Cobrin, the UCLA and USC product, serving now. Puts a jump serve in, well passed by Berge, and another setter dump by Griebenau.
Just a lot of mental breakdowns right now by the Stingers. That's the second setter attack from Griebenau that's gone down easily. Griebenau's 6'7". As the middle blocker on the Stingers, you got to have your hands up and expect him to throw it down because he's tall enough to take advantage of it.
Especially on a high, tight pass with a front row setter. At least get a hand up there.
Couldn't say it better myself, Noah.
Serve goes off the tape. Set outside of Romero. Oh, and off the hands of Uchenna Ofoha. When you've got that middle serving and playing defense, should attack him every time.
Hey.
Not that you can't play defense, but if you had to pick your option.
I've seen Uchenna get a couple of digs this season, and I think he'll get one before this match is over, Noah, okay?
If I'm swinging at Uchenna or Berge, I'm going for Uchenna. No offense. Ooh, Our camp blocked back and then touched by Eisenberg. Point now for the Stingers. Getting a little bit of momentum going. 2-point lead. Float serve pass in the middle. Sent to the outside. Rattray! And he detonates into the center of the court. If there's anyone that can end momentum for the opposing team and bring it for his team, it's Brandon Rattray.
Well, that'll be a highlight reel right there.
Ooh, rough backs, a little miscommunication there. Free ball opportunity, but chaos on the Wild side. Rattray pokes it over Hoyt sends it back. Chance for the Wild. Auerkamp on the right side gets the swing. Ties things up 8-8. Some real miscommunication and set breakdowns there in that rally. Greenman now drops in the float. Passed high by Romero. Back quick set to him, but he hits it off the pin. Little bit tight, little bit wide on the set. Can't force it through without the illegal contact.
And again, the Stingers just not clicking on offense. Got to figure it out a little bit. Show some emotion, show some urgency now.
And that's the thing with the Stingers team. They don't lack the talent. They don't lack the experience. It's really controlling their own errors and own energy. Kept alive by Wild with the foot save. Was that in or out? They're calling it out, wrong side of the antenna.
Easy call there for our first official, Patrick Bradley, up there on the tower. That ball went over his head and outside the antenna. That is not allowed. Point will go to Utah.
Almost another fun opportunity for the San Diego Wild Instagram reels. Nice foot dig, ball kept alive, but no dice on that one.
We'll leave that to Messi out there in Florida.
Tight set and sent back down by Mency. Auerkamp just tried to force the tight one, and Mency had his hands in just the right spot to send him back home.
Only if our broadcast partner was here for that one.
Reach out and something to someone. I don't quite remember it.
Something like that. I don't recall either.
Errant pass by Eisenberg, set by Rattray. A little spinny, no call. Picked up Utah Stingers back row attack. Back to the right side to Rattray, off the hands. Kept alive by Utah. Right side attack, another errant set. Chance to redeem himself outside. Romero kept alive by Berge. Auerkamp sends it off the arms of Cobra and ends the rally.
And look who the first one is to cheer for his team. Coach Nick England basically comes onto the court, points and appreciation, clapping constantly. Very bought-in coaching by Nick England.
Oh, of course. He's got the matching purple shoes. He's all the way bought in.
He is as bought in as you can be.
Outside set to Mencia, goes off the fingertips, out of bounds, point for the Stingers. That one sounded like it really went off the top of the fingertips, maybe jammed one or two on that Wild side.
Yep, that old fingertip jammer.
Were you, did you tape the knuckles when you played, or did you leave them untaped?
Oh, my thumb and pinky finger was always getting cracked.
That's one thing I enjoy about the back row. My fingers are safe. The head's always in a dangerous spot, though. Auerkamp now tools it off the block of Hoyt and Cobrin.
A little back and forth here so far, Noah, in set number 2. Nobody has had a bigger lead than, I believe, 2 points thus far.
I don't believe so. And I'm not sure what they're asking about here on the court. Coach Russell Holmes talking with our down official. But all seems to be well. Duarte serving for San Diego. Perfect pass by Rosa. Right side attack. Dug up Griebenau. Rattray on the hands. Berge sneaks it through line. Mency mad at himself for not getting his hands spread wide enough to take away that shot.
Yeah. After that dig, Rattray came in, called off Josh Duarte, who wanted to set that ball. It was probably a smart decision by Rattray to do so. Results in that counterattack point.
Something about the great players, always wanting to get that second contact if they can. Perfect pass. Great set. Quick set to Cobrin. Auerkamp's block a little bit late.
That was a very fast set to the pin. Cobrin was the recipient of that one.
Tied up here 12-12 in a contentious second set. Berge, a bit of a quick pass, quick set, and then roofed by Mencia.
That's Mencia's second massive stuff down of this set alone. Is that the spark that Utah needs, Noah?
Mencia, maybe a Habitat for Humanity volunteer, building roofs out here. And a miscommunication and serve receive just off the knuckles of Berge. Stingers take a 14-12 lead. Mikkel Zebra Hoyt back to serve. Puts in a short dropping floater. Well passed by Rattray. Middle attack, dug up by the Stingers. Back row pipe, but missed to the left by Inoval Romero.
San Diego got away with that one. Another attack through the middle that gets controlled. But why go to the back row on that one? Go outside. You've got Coburn in the front row at left front. Set the kid. Let him go up and attack it.
And Ufoha, certainly someone that can handle his own and take over a match, but you are feeling the missed presence of Matt Carnegie here for this Wild team. Not really seeing that middle attack.
Well, looking at the stats after the first set, both of the middles have 0 kills for San Diego Wild. Josh Duarte and Uchenna Ufoha.
I don't believe we've seen one in the second set either.
I don't believe we have.
Stingers up 15-13. Mencia with the serve. Sends it long. Got to get rid of these serving errors if you want to stay in this match.
Definitely more pressure on the Stingers with their jump serves when they have the lead.
Berge, perfect pass by Romero. Outside set, too wide. Sent back, another opportunity. Middle attack, dug by Eisenberg. Chilton back to the outside. Coburn stuffed, and they can't scoop it up. Griebenau and Ufoha combining for the stuff down. San Diego has tied things up now 15-15, 1 point away from our technical timeout. So we've seen Utah have that lead up to 3 points, now slip away to a tie game. Aggressive serve by Berge. Mency dug up our camp. Back row attack and a split-second decision called in, then called out by our back official. Missed swing by Berge, taking us to our technical timeout. Stingers ahead 16-15. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Air conditioning doesn't work in this place because it's so goddamn old, Josh.
Here in set number 2, Stingers ahead 16-15, a much closer set than this first one that we saw the San Diego Wild take. Sam Coburn ready to serve. Ooh. And sends a jump serve flying into the back wall.
Airmailed that one straight to the back wall indeed. Almost took out a camera.
one of those serves you could see the initial topspin, and about when it got halfway through his side of the court, became a float and took flight on its way to the Long Beach airport. Romero off the head of Duarte.
San Diego putting in their first serving sub of the match there.
Yep. Now undoing the sub of Chris Schaefer. Putting that float serve in, doing his job. Then going back out, libero Josh Eisenberg back in the game. Float serve pass in the middle by Berg. He's sent to the outside by Rattray. He reaches up and unloads a bit early on the set, maybe a miscommunication at the tempo.
Yeah.
But he jumps high enough and hits hard enough where it doesn't really matter.
He took the words right out of my mouth, Noah. He was definitely early, but he's able to somehow hang in the air there and then turn it high hands down the line for the point.
That's what's fascinating about watching these players both on our broadcast and in person, just seeing the athleticism and the height that these guys can get up to and just float, hang, survey the scene, and then put a ball down. And that one's put down by Romero right down the line.
Didn't expect to see that one. Romero challenging Joel Auerkamp down the line seam and winning that time.
And I don't think he could have been any further to the line or else that ball would have been out. Stingers holding that 1-point lead late into set 2, 18-17. Rattray is blocked, but it sails wide. Gets the tool kill and now heads back to the service line. Rattray gets the ace serve, firing up his San Diego squad.
Perfect timing for that service ace, Noah, especially at this phase of set number 2. Look for San Diego to break away, but I love this timeout being called by the Stingers.
Yep, Russ Holmes wants to take away any momentum that might be building. Timeout Utah. We'll be right back. And we're back here, set number 2. Wild now taking the lead, 19-18. Perfect pass by Rosa. Set a little tight, kept alive. Miscommunication on the second set, but Mencia takes care of it, ends all the quarrels.
Bit lucky there for Utah. That could have gotten ugly real fast. Able to ride it out, though, and get the point. Now with Romero at the inline, tied up at 19s.
Romero sends the jump serve into the court for the ace. Eisenberg claiming that ball sent long, and it looks like we have a challenge or a timeout, actually. They're going to take a timeout instead. 20-19, Stingers ahead. We'll be back in just a sec. Back into the action now. Stingers jumping back in this back and forth set. Now the 20-19 lead. Nova Romero off a service ace, looking to apply the pressure again. And he does it. Off the arms of Brandon Rattray, off the backboard along the wall. Back-to-back aces for Romero. Serving up just what the Stingers need. 2-point lead here in the guts of set number 2. And back-to-back timeouts by Nick England and the San Diego Wild. Really trying to slow down any service momentum. We'll be back in a few seconds. We're back, and you're not seeing deja vu or double. We just saw back-to-back service ace timeout, service ace timeout. Now a 21-19 lead for the Stingers. Romero sends this one long, so took 2 attempts, but a coach point nonetheless for Nick England.
And no more timeouts.
And no more
either.
timeouts here in a 1-point game. Just a few points left unless the thing goes overtime. Duarte serving for the San Diego Wild. Off speed. Passed well by Rosa. Outside Coburn. Off the hands. Into the backcourt. Point Utah. Another quick set there by Chilton, finding Coburn on the outside. Hoyt drops in the float. Errant pass by Rattray. Free ball opportunity. Sent to the outside. Coburn off the hands again. Picked up by Griebenau. Set to the outside for Berge. Dug, but a net violation on the Stingers. Fabian Rohina.
The golden opportunity to add to your lead, but the net violation instead gives the point back to San Diego, and they stay within 1 with our camp now at the end line.
And that's where you need to be a little bit more disciplined. It was an errant, far-off set by the Wild. Just stay home and stay out of the net.
Oh, wow.
And then Mencia just tagging it down the line. I don't know how he snuck that in there.
That ball hit Eisenberg on the way out of bounds. Not something you typically see from a libero that has the talent of Josh Eisenberg.
Just got up on him too quick. Mencia serve, pass in the middle by Rattray. Outside set, Berge off the hands. Rosa takes care of it for the pipe attack, but he is stuffed down by Ofoha. Might not be doing it on offense, but he will do it on defense at the net.
Ofoha gave zero respect to the Stinger middle and just stepped over for that shutdown on the big attack.
And that shows the intelligence of the middle blocker of Uchenna Ofoha. He knew exactly where that set was going.
Interesting choice here. A blocking substitution perhaps for Brendan Rattray. Number 12 comes in.
They're putting in Owen Karlzig here, yes, maybe as a blocking sub, but it's all undone with a missed serve by Sam Berge. And some quick court time for Owen. Set point 24-22 here for the Utah Stingers. Sam Coburn set on the line, ball in his hands. Here comes the serve. Well passed, back to the outside for Rattray, and he is stuffed down by Reed Chilton. And that'll do it for set number 1. Stingers storm all the way back. Set number 2, they take this one set apiece here, and we're going into set 3. What a match we have in store. We'll be back.
We're here with head coach Nick England. We have broken the Stingers' curse and we are tied 1-1. What is the game plan moving forward?
Well, I mean, they're playing the epitome of Stinger volleyball, low error. We got them, we played a little bit cleaner that first set. They really locked it down that second set. And I know they're not going to slip up at this point, so it's all about what can we do, how can we answer that back.
We see on your offense we have Bergie and Rattray swinging at some out-of-system balls that I feel like wouldn't normally swing at. How do you feel like that's benefiting offense today?
I mean, it's we're willing to toss the coin a little bit, and that's why we put the biggest pins we have, Rattray, Joel, Bergie out there, make big plays happen. Sometimes you forego a little bit of passing, but big guys take big swings, so we're working with it.
Best of luck. We'll see what happens. Thank you. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Haley. Great insight there from Nick England on that second set loss for the San Diego Wild. And Matt, a difference I've noticed now if we're looking at their serve reception from set 1 to set 2, Wild going from 75% down to 54%.
That's a huge flip-flop in the wrong direction, Noah. A massive drop-off on the passing, but you know what that means also? Service pressure from their opponents, the Stingers. Novo Romero with those 2 clutch aces in the second half of that set really attributes to that big drop in the pass service reception.
And also on the Stingers side, a marginal increase for them going from a 57% reception to 61%. So they're trending in the right direction while the Wild trending in the wrong.
Well, very interesting now as this match continues to intrigue not just you and I, but everybody here in the arena and at home as well.
And Matt, I have a feeling I know your perspective on this as a middle, but when the game gets close and you kind of want to play it safe and just get your rhythm going, how important is establishing the middle if it hasn't been established so far?
It's extremely important. Both teams not middle heavy whatsoever. And we get back to it, but hopefully they'll pick that up as this match progresses.
Set number 3 underway. Free ball opportunity, and Rattray tools it off the hands, and it falls short. JJ Rosa knows he can get that one. One nothing lead, San Diego Wild. Set number 3, and that float just kept on floating. Missed serve by Griebenow.
Very interesting to see how these teams react now that this match is tied up at 1 set apiece. San Diego body language does not look very excited. Meanwhile, the Stingers playing with some sense of urgency, and it's Romero who gets his 3rd service ace of the match.
And Romero picks up where he left off, keeping the service pressure going. Another ace.
Novo Romero, we talked about at the beginning of the match, Noah, how important to the Stingers this player is. And Novo Romero, 3 service aces so far in this match. Where's he at? 15 total points. 15 attacks and 7 points. Really getting a lot of good looks, but scoring from the inline is a huge help.
And that's where he's been the biggest difference maker right now, is this service pressure late in set 2 and now early here in set 3. Keeping the Wild on their heels, out of system. And that's something you can exploit when you have Brandon Rattray, who is a fine passer, but traditionally a right side player playing in that outside position.
Right. And with Eisenberg in the middle, early on, Utah was targeting Josh Eisenberg. Keep the ball away from the guy wearing the different colored jersey.
Usually a safe strategy. Romero lines up another one, serves right to Eisenberg, out of system pass. And Joel Auerkamp is stuffed down by Miguel Hoyt and Jorge Mencia.
Everything going the way of Utah right now. That's a big point for them.
And that's the positives of being down early in a lot of matches. You're comfortable and calm under pressure with your back against the wall. San Diego now having to deal with that adversity on the fly. Serve passed by Rattray, middle of the court, sent back to him. Errant set. Stingers go quick in the middle, off the hands, point for Hoyt. Zebra seeking it off some fingers. Wild in a spot they do not want to be in, down 4-1 early. Romero's service run continues. and ends right there with a long jump serve, but tremendous pressure to give his team a 2-point lead. How does Brandon Rattray answer from the service line? Oof. With a serve in the middle of the net. Going for that off speed and took a little bit too much off it.
Not been hitting his jump serve with a lot of velocity today. That one opting for that roll shot, but it doesn't clear the net system.
Hoyt sends in a float, well passed by Berge. Middle attack, and there is Josh Duarte.
Finally getting a kill through the middle for San Diego. It's taken them 3 games to get a point on offense with either Duarte or Ofoha. Finally making that connection.
And you can see the excitement and maybe frustration boiling over for Duarte, letting out a loud roar saying, finally.
Yeah, and myself.
And sucking the momentum right away from his own team, serves it into the net.
Back-to-back service errors is something that San Diego cannot afford to have right now.
Jorge Mencia with the interesting sort of perpendicular pitcher's lineup for his service line to start. Switching back to more vertical approach. And tries to go cutter off speed, but misses the court wide.
Like you bring in geometry into the broadcast, no?
You know, got to keep it interesting. Remind everyone I went to school, I know words. Quick set and detonated on by the Stingers, Fabian Rohina.
He gets his first point on offense of the match. Finally, both teams getting their middles activated on the offensive side of things.
Well, either they are listening to us or they're just discovering this on their own. Run someplace through the middle.
Not too sure how much longer Russell Holmes could watch his team not set the middle.
And almost in perfect symmetrical fashion, a serve into the net after the middle kill.
He's going to stay with that geometry undertone.
It's what the people want.
I hated geometry.
It's more of an algebra guy, if I'm being honest. Great pass here. Middle set, but blocked by Ofoha. Get that ball out of here.
One too many times to the well. Stingers opted quick for the second straight time, and Ofoha shutting it down.
And that's Ofoha's wheelhouse. That blocking pressure, those decisive hands getting up and taking away zones.
Not able to capitalize on it. Another service error.
Fabian Rohina breaks the trend, serve in the court. Middle attack for Ofoha that pans out. A little bit of an off-kilter set, sort of behind or in front of his setter, but finds the open court. Pass in the middle, quick set to the outside, off the hands of Ofoha. Point for the Stingers and Enoval Romero.
I just get the feeling, Noah, that if the Stingers can score a couple more real points, they're going to put some real pressure on the San Diego team. Got to take advantage of the opportunity here. Up by 2. Not their strongest server at the end line, but if they can add something to it, get a couple of quick points, could be a winning recipe, perhaps.
They're certainly a team that can feel when their opponent is on their heels, and they know when to pounce. Back row attack to our camp, off the hands of Chilton, sent off the wall. Nice response there for San Diego. Just down 1. Creeping out deep float, passed by Rosa, and a joust won by Enoval Romero. Him and Rattray meeting well above the plane of the net, and Romero with the angle.
And again, that volleyball IQ coming into play Romero this time, showing that if you just wait and contact it second and push through it, you most likely will win that joust.
Dangerous server back here with Romero. Unleashes another ace right on cue, his fourth. Letting his will be known. I mean, what a feeling going from back-to-back, winning a joust and then ripping an ace. Now all he needs is a back row kill just to get the trifecta.
The trifecta.
So we're cleaning up some spillage on the court, some body fluids, keeping things dry, keeping the players safe. 11-8 lead for the Stingers, set number 3. Romero, does he have one more in him? Off speed, well passed. Back set, Rattray off the hands, kill for San Diego. Coburn a little late, a little off the net, and Rattray taking advantage. And here comes a serving sub for Brandon Rattray. Karlzik coming in. Rattray, typically a dangerous server, but Nick England going with a different strategy, giving his guy a little bit of a rest on the serve. Great pass by Rosa. Mency off the arms of Berge. And interesting here, Matt Karlzik staying in. Rattray staying on the bench, catching a breather.
That is interesting. Player management, load management, very important.
It might be, but this is win or go home time, so certainly an interesting strategy. Great strategy by Berge, hitting around the block, off the arms, and onto the floor.
You know, this third set, when the match is tied up at one set apiece, is a little bit of a perplexer, right? It's essentially a 2 out of 3 match. A team could come out and put in a lot of energy to win this third set, and the other team could kind of shut it down and sort of conserve a little bit and then do the same for sets 4 and 5, right? So game management, player management's definitely a very high point here in strategy.
A middle attack by Rohina. Great set by Chilton, gives the Stingers another point. That is a great point by you, Matt, that maybe this third set isn't really putting everything you got in it, knowing that there's a chance you have a 4th and a 5th coming up. So maybe manage that game, try and win, of course, but don't put all your cards on the table.
I think you can kind of see that right now from San Diego. They're sort of, stuck in third gear, right? Those of us that used to have manual transmission vehicles.
Well, and a ball barely saved by Wild. Free ball for Stingers. Ooh. And blocked straight down by Uchenna Ofoha. The Canadians' block has come alive, and he's taken over.
That's a massive stuffing right there from the native of Toronto, Canada. Quite the social media following if you haven't clicked on his Instagram page.
Oh, yeah.
Get a little insider info of what the day in the life of Uchenna Ofoha is like, his workouts, his trainings as a middle blocker, what he tries to do to get better. Pays off on that one.
And he works as hard as anyone to make sure his body's in the right shape and his form is correct to get those blocks the way he gets them. Our camp's serve sails just long. Another service error on the side of the Wild, giving the Stingers a 3-point lead, holding on to this cushion most of this first or third set. Perfect pass by Berge. Middle attack, dug, one-arm stab dig by Rosa. Outside Berge and finds the deep corner. One of those great prayer digs by Rosa, just sticking a hand up, happens to pop up and land in the court.
Better be lucky than good sometimes, and JJ Rosa is a very good libero.
Fantastic, a 2-time All-Star libero. Yep. And Chilton tries to swipe it, but is blocked down by Ofoha in the middle.
So they're saying that the blockers of San Diego hit that ball into Reed's hand, and then it was called out of bounds on the Stingers.
Yep, looks like he tried to swipe it off them, but they penetrated over the net and pushed it back into his hand after his swipe, and he just sent it out of bounds.
And as a front row setter, that's a completely allowable play, Noah.
And the serve goes long. Another service error for San Diego. The middle, Fabian Rohina with the floater. Perfect pass by Carlenzig. Set to him on the outside, and he puts it harsh angle into the chest of Romero. You know what? Sometimes maybe it's not even conservative. It's just different eyes, fresh legs getting in there, changing things up, and give a new look to that Stingers block and maybe catch them off guard.
Yeah, absolutely. A little change-up.
And Ofoha's serve goes into the net. That is 3 service errors in a row for San Diego. Taking us to our first technical timeout, 16-14, Stingers ahead. We'll be right back. And we welcome you back to set number 3. The Utah Stingers up 16-14. We can see the New Jersey Freedom and the OC Stunners have entered the building. There our match coming up. That is coming up at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Another rubber match, season rubber match between divisional rivals.
Be the third match of the season for those two teams.
Another rubber match, 4 p.m. Ramblers and Matadors as Duarte puts one away. And we conclude our quarterfinals day here on Friday at 7 p.m., the Tyrants and the Puerto Rico Pythons. A full day of exciting volleyball, some divisional rivals, intense rivalries, and a lot of good action. Quick set attempt for Mikkel Hoyt, missed. Menzi tried to clean it up with a set over, but he goes right into the tape. And we're tied, 16 all. Push set to the outside, blocked back by Auerkamp, kept alive. Right side now, and Nova Romero tries to tool the block, but it's on the hands into the court. Carlenzig making an impact.
The spark as well, coming in off the bench and making an impact here, offensively and defensively for the Wild.
Quick pass and quick set, tooled off the hands, winning the joust. Now here's where the contentious challenge is coming in. We've seen this a lot this year. Sort of what is the call in that joust? Who's swiping? Whose hand is it off of? And whose point is it? Call on the floor. Stinger's point off the hands of Auerkamp. Nick England and the San Diego Wild arguing it was pushed back off the hands of Mencia.
Now, good thing we have the net camera right in front in the perfect location for this challenge.
Yep, so our officiating crew going to take a look at that replay in our challenge system, see whose hand it was off of last, and I mean, you can really get into the frame by frame in the milliseconds.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one to tell. You know, usually this ball goes in favor of the blocker because the attacker goes up and pushes it into the block and then off the hands.
Right.
And more often than not, that push off the hands, the attacker's fingertips are still on the ball if we can get that exact frame lined up.
And when you think about it, now we're going to talk a physics perspective, right? If two hands are meeting at the top and the ball ends up going to the right or left, wherever the joust is taking place, the person pushing it that way most likely pushed it last if it's going that direction, because the blocker's trying to push it down.
Yes.
When the attacker's trying to go left or right.
100% agreed with you, Noah. Good physics lesson for any of those future spikers out there that are learning their physics in whatever grade they might do that now. I don't know.
But now more of a reality lesson. The call on the floor was point for the Stingers, so they need to see enough to overturn it in the replay, which sometimes can be difficult on these very tight, highly jousted balls. And you know what? That's exactly how it stands. The call on the floor is still point Stingers.
Exactly how I saw it, too. Exactly how I saw it.
Was it? Well, our opinion does not matter. Point for the Stingers, tied up here 17-17 in the guts of set number 3. And who else but Enoval Romero ready to serve. Sends that one long, gives the Wild a free opportunity with the 1-point lead, and gets him off the service line. Karlzig dug, high set, and just a little touch. Okay, double touch there by the Wild. Scooped up. Looks like Berge got the foot dig. Then it hit himself on the Chester's shoulder. That's a double touch, not allowed.
Berge going for the kick save once again. He's been watching a little too much Major League Soccer, perhaps recently.
Maybe
or Women's World Cup.
World Cup, yep. The U.S. women's national team won 0-1, a win and a tie. Tied the Netherlands just a day ago. And the middle attack by Duarte. Untouched, his hand to the floor, and he's firing his guys up.
He wants more, I think. Feed the big man. He's found his rhythm. Cleanly getting that ball down to the floor past the Stinger block for the point.
We have Ofoha taking over on the block for the Wild, and Duarte taking over offensively. All right, so an errant set just pushed over by Coburn with his hands, and no one's there to take it for San Diego.
That's kind of been the MO of this match, back and forth. Both teams doing good on side out, but the broken play is need to be cleaned up a little bit on both sides.
That's one of those opportunities where Eisenberg was not on the court, so those sort of free ball or off ball options there's a little bit of miscommunication. So wait, is that mine? Is that yours? When if there was the libero, he'd be pushing everyone out of the way to get that ball.
Right, 100%.
19 all, Jorge Mencia with the jump serve. Passed off the net by Berge, sent to the right side. Auerkamp scooped up by Mencia. Romero blocked in the middle. Chilton, quick set, middle, off the shoulder of Eisenberg. Fabian Rohina gets the kill.
What a turnaround there by the Stingers. All starts with the serve. Great scoop on defense.
And I'm sure you love it as much as me, but I love to see an in-transition quick middle set.
Out of rotation nearly.
And then speaking of quick sets, in serve receive now, Ofoha sends it right back their way.
Things getting a little chippy here at 20-20 here in set number 3.
A little chippy, and we're on the seesaw, back and forth, tied at 20s. Auerkamp's serve goes long, an untimely error. Sam Coburn, 1-point lead for his Stingers, 21-20. Sends in a float. Low pass, outside to Berge. Chip shot, dug. Free ball chance. Goes to Ofoha in the middle, and he tools the hands of Rohina. A thunderous kill for the San Diego Wild. Tied here again, 21-21. Set number 3. Sandberg on the spinner. Great pass by Rosa. Outside Romero. Pinballs off the hands, kept alive with the pancake, but can't be sent over. Just sneaking that ball through the block. Fabian Rohina and his Utah Stingers 3 points away from taking a lead in this match. 22-21. Float serve, perfect pass by Berge. Ofoha in the middle, sends it down. Loosens up the shoulders, lets everyone know, I'm here, I'm alive, and I'm ready to eat.
The middle attackers from both sides have officially become evacuated. Activated. Noah, activated here in set number 3.
They've activated and evacuate the building if you're in their way. Don't want to take one of those swings to the chest. And a serving substitution here. Christopher Schaefer for the Wild. Floats off the top tape, sent to the outside, and tooled off the hands. Point for the Stingers. Romero, another intelligent swing. Reed Chilton sends in a float. Tight pass. Outside. Karlzig goes for the angle. Off the hand of Rosa. No dice. Tying things up once again. 23-23.
It's officially the business end, Noah. Who's going to crack? Who's going to score the next 2 points to take this third set and the lead in this match?
This is the playoff intensity volleyball we love to see in this championship weekend. Mency off the hands, but on the floor. Blocked back by Auerkamp and Duarte.
Russell Holmes, I think, still has 2 timeouts in his pocket.
I'm thinking the same thing as you.
Will he use one here? Doesn't look like he's going to.
He's going to let his guys play. Set point 24-23 to take the match lead 2-1. Griebenau ready to drop it in. Tight pass. One arm set off the hands. Eisenberg sends it to the net. Karlzig. It's dug. Kept alive by the Stingers. And Romero finds the open court.
Oh, man. Duarte wants that one back. He set it over. It had no pace. The Stingers cleaned it up and then turned it. And we're tied at 24s.
And that's one that on the edge of your seat or on your toes, just like, oh, come on, put it away. And they just couldn't be terminal with it. Stingers just being scrappy, keeping it alive, and Romero finding some space. Well, that is a San Diego Wild timeout, 24-24. We'll keep it here. Matt, what are you expecting from the service line here for these Stingers?
Well, now, I mean, this is an important moment for both sides to serve the ball tough but in. Don't miss into the net. Keep it away from the libero. Stingers are serving. They've got to target Karlzig, right? He's the newest guy into the game late here in set number 3. Pivotal moments. I would expect to see them go at the outside hitter in purple wearing number 12.
And this is really where you have to find that perfect balance of in the court but aggressive, right? You're not down a bunch, but you can just get it in. You're not up a bunch, but you can let it rip.
Yep.
It's tied.
You like
2
to call
points
this,
to spare.
You like to call this like the 92% serve. You know, it's going to be in and tough, but it's not a hard jump serve. But Romero's got 4 service aces on the match so far, so he may go back and roll the dice.
If anyone on this Stingers team and in this match should let it rip, it's Romero.
We'll tell by the toss.
Serves it off the arms, and for the ace.
Gets it off of Carlin Zig. What a serve. Ace number 5 for Inovo Romero.
And following your directions to a T, 92% pace off the substituted player of Carlin Zig for the service ace, and now set point 25-24, but another timeout by Nick England. We'll take a quick break and come back for the conclusion of this set. Set number 3, 25-24, Inovo Romero on the service line after an ace. Lets another one rip. Great pass. Our camp on the left side.
Oh,
and
net
there's
violation.
a net violation on Utah. That ball was kept alive. Romero had a beat on it in the backcourt. But the play is ended on the net violation. 25-25. Some extra volleyball in set number 3. Now if San Diego can pull off this win, you'll reap the benefits of the decisions we were talking about with Brandon Rattray. He will come in, maybe he'll come in to a 4th set with fresh legs, or you'll keep Carlin Zig in, who's been the hot hand.
Yeah, I would expect to see Carlin Zig stay in until really someone like Rattray is needed, which if San Diego's going to win this set, depending on how set 4 goes, might not actually be until the end of to the beginning of set number 5, if we were to get there.
So you say stick with what's working.
Yes.
Great pass by Rosa outside. Cobrin stuffed back down. Our camp and Duarte. Set point San Diego Wild. Carlin Zig. Another serve set on the line. Pass center of the court by Rosa. Back set to Mencia and sneaks it through the angle. Griebenau can't come up with it.
Pretty good look there for San Diego to get the dig, but right back just not able to make the play.
Tied here 26-26. Mikel Zebra-Hoyt back to serve. National team player for Trinidad and Tobago, looking to give his Stingers the match lead. Float, perfect pass by Berge. Back to him and sends it long but off the hands, tooling the block just so slightly. Josh Duarte, 27-26 San Diego. Puts in a safe jumper, great pass, backs at Jorge Mencia, same spot as the last one, cross court into that defensive one area.
Keep hitting it back to area 1. Sorry, Griebenau, but that's 2 times the ball's come to you. Got to get a dig back there at right back.
Jorge Mencia lines up a jump serve. Sends it off the arms. Is it dead yet? Chase down. Free ball opportunity. San Diego keeps it alive. The Stingers go back row. Dug by Wild. Offset. Miscommunication. Another free ball chance. Cobrin bounces it down the line, but out of bounds. But hold on. We have a touch call.
Oh, an overrule now?
Our line judge called touch. Uprev overruled, so that's out of bounds. And confusion all over the court.
So our line judge called a touch, but then our first official, and probably in communication with our second official, overruled it, saying it was out of bounds. And now Coach Russell Holmes is going to challenge it, perhaps, to confirm.
Right. Now, I'm interested to see, I guess he saw a touch on the arm of the blocker or a finger, because they seem in confirmation the ball landed out of bounds or was placed out of bounds.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be an interesting one here, something that perhaps the human eye can't catch, or we'll see if our line judge was correct.
Yeah.
You know, fortunately, we do have about 12 cameras around the court to catch the plays here and utilize our challenge system.
That's what we have it for. Make sure we get things right, get all eyes, all camera angles on it as possible. Either way, a great time for a challenge. You're in, extra points, back and forth game, gives your team a breather either way. And hey, maybe they find something on the camera. Either way, how about the blocky move of our camp to give him enough line to think he's got some open space, but really forcing him out of bounds? And Sam Cobrin, he wanted that one.
And he waited as long as he could to turn it down the line. I think he hit it where he wanted to hit it, and I think he thinks it went off the block as well.
It was too fast for the human eye, too fast for my eye to see a touch from our angle. But we did have our ref right there on the end line, so maybe there's something he's seeing that we are not.
So it is confirmed out of bounds, which means that our line judge was incorrect. No touch. And the point will go to San Diego.
Set point San Diego, 28-27. Our camp on the jump serve. Sends it into the tape, and that's why I mentioned either way I like the challenge, right? It's a timeout for the Stingers regardless of whether you win that point or not.
Yeah, I mean, at that point of the set, you have to take the challenge for sure.
Perfect pass. Outside Berge down the line in the court. Little thumb up cutter deep down that line.
Russell Holmes still with 2 timeouts. Not going to use one yet.
Another set point opportunity for San Diego. Berge on the jump. Just sends that one along and miss it. You could hear it. Not even close.
Coach England not satisfied with that service error.
Fabian Rohina an opportunity. Tied up at 29s. Eisenberg dimes it. Middle attack. Ofoha scooped alive. And Carlinze cleans it up with the overpass kill. Not letting that ball hang around for too long, sending it right back where it came from. San Diego, another set point opportunity in the 30s now, 30-29. Outside set, Romero off the fingertips, kept alive. Outside Karlzig. Recycled. Romero blocked. Rosa keeps it alive. Chilton goes for the push off through the fingers of Auerkamp, and Berge comes crashing into the wall through our borders there on the back of the court. An aggressive slide, and we hope he's okay right now as players surrounded around him.
Berge pursuing that one, went hard into the wall. Camera equipment and one of the banners that we have surrounding the court.
Took a hard spill, aggressive in pursuit of that ball. Being checked out by medical staff. He popped up rather quickly. I think he might have just been shaken up and needed a second to recalibrate. Now, what's interesting here in terms of the roster management, if he needs to go out, you can't put Rattray now in for Berge since he's already been subbed out for another player. Seems to be okay. Well, if you didn't think this game and this weekend means anything to the players, that's showing you're dead wrong.
You're dead wrong.
30-29, game set on the line, crashing into the boards, trying to keep this thing alive. Commend the effort, and we're glad he's okay.
Now, do you serve him right now if you're Reed Chilton?
Yes.
Don't.
And he goes down the line, Karlzig. Middle attack, Duarte's blocked. Out of bounds. Hoyt's hands not over the net quite enough. Sends it wide. I agree with you. Courtesy aside,
You got to serve the guy.
you serve
for
the
sure.
shaken up player.
Absolutely.
Set point again. Griebenau. Off pass, right side.
Oh,
And
he
Romero
missed
sends it long, ending this set with a 32-30 victory for the San Diego Wild. We're going into set 4. San Diego up 2-1. We'll be right back. We are back here at Long Beach City College for the NVA's championship weekend. The San Diego Wild up 2-1 against the Utah Stingers after a thrilling set number 3 victory, 32-30. Matt, what are you expecting from the response from both of these teams?
Well, if you're the Stingers, it's now or never, obviously. You're down 1-2. You had a great chance to take that third set, kind of let it slip there late with that attack error. But meanwhile, for San Diego, kind of like sharks in the South Pacific Ocean outside off the coast of San Diego, they sense blood in the water. They've put Rattray back in. He's going to play opposite, replacing Auerkamp. That leaves Carlenzing and Berge at the outside hitter positions. So let's see how this lineup works for San Diego. They've gone to the, I don't want to say more explosive because Joel Auerkamp has had a nice match, but perhaps a little load management on his side as well.
Maybe go in the middle of our two options, putting Rattray back in, but keeping in Carlenzing. We're underway, set number 3, and Carlenzing gets to the point with the lefty push. So giving Auerkamp a rest, getting Rattray back in there. And maybe that's that blood in the water you were talking about, putting someone explosive in like Rattray to really cement this thing. And that one is sent off the block of Duarte and Carlenzing. Point for Miguel Hoyt.
Perhaps the better analogy would be like a bear smelling a hiker's lunch.
Yes, a San Diego wild bear smelling some lunch out there. Someone left the trail mix bag open. Outside set. Oh, and just tapped by Berge, and he knows that ball is head and shoulders out.
And just to round it out, insight from our producer, like a bear smelling some honey.
Ah,
out
yes.
in the honey patch. I'll give Josh credit for that one.
Well, I like that because where do they find honey? In a bee's nest.
In a bee's nest, he says.
You got an intelligent man working over here with us. The most important man in the NVA.
This is true. This is true.
Stingers 2-1 lead, early set 4. Oh, and just a little off-speed swing there by Duarte. And we're seeing a lot of that now. These teams are sort of getting beat by the finesse, by the off-speed game.
Well, I mean, you can't go 105% all the time. You got to change it up a little bit. Throw in those soft little shots into the open court. As long as the ball touches the ground, it's still a point.
It's a simple game. Carlenzing on the jumper. Dug by Rosa. Push set outside. Dug by Carlenzing. Tight set. Sent over. Kept alive. Another chance. Rattray rips it off the hands. Chilton sets outside. Mency taps it. Rattray taps it back. Still alive. Mency pushes now. Doesn't find any hands. Sends it out of bounds. Rattray knowing exactly what Mencia was going for there.
But then a net violation call comes in against Mencia. And Russ Holmes having an extended conversation with Tony Chan about a potential challenge.
I mean, maybe on the follow-through he hit the net, but either way, I think he pushed that ball out of bounds with no touch. So I'm not sure on what the challenge is looking for.
I'm thinking maybe a net violation against San Diego, but at the bottom of the net.
So maybe they misread why the net was bouncing.
Perhaps a uniform malfunction.
Now, it's early in this set, but we're late in the game and Stingers are down. Do you support a challenge like this?
It's 50-50, right? It's a little early in this set. I think Coach Holmes might only have 1 or 2 challenges remaining. So if he was to lose this one, it could put them in a potentially tight spot and also not pick up the point. So only time will tell on this one, Noah.
This is one I would keep it in my pocket. It's hard when your player that you trust looks at you and says, "No, I'm confident. X happened and they called Y." But in terms of game management, keeping that challenge, because there's a chance this thing goes late in this 4th set and possibly 5, and you're going to want that later.
Well, if we do go 5 sets, each team gets 1 challenge for that 5th set only.
This is true.
And a net violation goes against the Wild, so Coach Holmes, with his eagle eyes, catches that one. Talk about a coach's point right there.
Russell Holmes 1, Noah Chast 0. Great call by Russell Holmes.
And the crowd goes wild in appreciation to that Stinger challenge. Successful Stinger challenge.
Successful. And he saves it. Can use it again.
No love or support from his outside hitter, though.
No, sends that one into the middle of the net. Tied up 3-3. Josh Duarte in his matching teal Nike shoes.
I was just about to make a comment about Owen Karlinzig did not get the appropriate shoe color memo.
He's got the socks,
Yes.
but the shoes are way offline.
clash. They're
Yeah,
clashing.
there's a lot of clash going on.
Same could be said about Brendan Rattray's green.
Yeah,
LeBrons.
it's close. You know, there was an attempt, but it's not quite the green that the San Diego Wild has on their uniform.
I like to say it's mint.
I think mint's a good description. Rattray with a minty swing deep in the court. Hoyt cannot come up with it.
San Diego Wild opting for their Friday purples today.
Friday Purples. Hoping to show off their other colorful uniforms later this weekend. Maybe tomorrow, maybe on Sunday. Well, I guess definitely Sunday if they make it to tomorrow, but hopefully with a lot on the line for them. In transition, Uchenna Ofoha with the quick swing. No shortage of middle presence now. I think both teams have gotten over that hump.
They certainly have. That was after 2 sets. They realized, well, we should run our middles a little bit more, and we'll get some luck out of it.
San Diego now up 6-4. Brandon Rattray back to serve. And he rips a jump serve, but it goes just long. And one looked good on the toss. And they're going to challenge it. From my angle, it was close. They think it caught line.
We're going to look at the compression of the ball and see if it made any contact with the end line. It was very, very close. After the challenge, it is confirmed that the ball was in fact out of bounds. So Coach England loses a challenge.
And that's one harder to trust your players since, you know, everyone's as far away from that end line as everyone else on that side of the court. So not like Rattray had any better vision than anyone else. Berge waffles it. Sends it long.
So back-to-back errors now from San Diego, and we're tied up at 6s.
Jorge Mencia's jump serve is dug. Back set, back row. Rattray fires it off the hands, takes out a replay camera, comes up here into the broadcast booth.
Well, Brandon Rattray is going to get a bill for that camera once this match is over.
Yup. You are responsible for where your ball ends up.
You break it, you buy it.
Mm-hmm. Was the kill worth it, Brandon? He'd say it was.
Yeah, that one caused some serious damage.
Rattray back row again, off the hands, kept alive. Back row from Mency, too high, free ball chance. Chilton goes outside, Romero, his is off hands. Berge diving again, crashing again. Calling a net violation on the Stingers. And the hustle and heart of Berge being rewarded. The San Diego team putting their bodies and the camera equipment on the line to win this match. Ofoha's float. Pass by Rosa. Middle attack, blocked back. Carl and Zig Duarte say no way. Nine, 7 lead, San Diego. Ofoha goes for a spinner. Normally likes that float serve, and he goes wide.
Interesting choice there.
Maybe trying to catch that serve-receive line sleeping a little bit, go off kilter for what they normally would do. Backfires. 9-8. Second hand's taken by Eisenberg, and Karlenzig tools it off the block. Beautiful second ball hands by Josh Eisenberg, setting up his guy. (10-8) Chris Griebenau on the float. Romero pushes it through the block. Too high and too strong. Stingers down 9-10. Energy gotten a little bit lower. Maybe both teams sort of catching their breath, holding themselves. Rattray tries to bring the energy, but Mency sends it back his way and onto the floor. That'll get the Stingers pumped up. 10-10. Float picked up, middle attack, and stuffed again! Hoyt with the rejection on Duarte.
Sticking around, staying in it. The Stingers just will not go away, Noah.
It's not in their blood, not in their DNA. Picking on Carl and Zig and serve receive. Rattray hammers it. Another one where he's a little bit early and he just basically does a straight vertical jump.
I was just about to say that too, Noah. Good catch. Brendan Rattray does one of the coolest things. If he runs under the set, he has this ability to just jump straight up and then still generate so much power through his torso into his hitting arm and crushes the ball.
Which is an impressive skill. A lot of hitters maybe broad jump too much, and if they're early, they're floating sort of wildly. He's able to just go straight up and down and get that arm angle. Scooped up by Rattray now. Outside Berge. Off the antenna. A little too much finesse. Stingers have now taken the lead up 12-11. Romero rips a jump serve. Pass tight by Eisenberg. One hand set. Duarte tries to punch it over. Nothing but net. No touch. That's a point for Utah. Romero, 6 aces on the match so far. Looking for another one. Give his team a 3-point cushion. And it's well Kept alive by Eisenberg. Set by Rattray. Berge goes high hands. Kept alive. Poked around. Mency free balls it. San Diego. Rattray. Off the hands. Back of the court. Nobody home.
Well, this changeup by San Diego is definitely working in their favor. Brendan Rattray back at that opposite hitter position, really causing problems for the Stingers' block and defense. They haven't been able to stop him or even slow him down.
And it's such a coin toss, really, with our camp and Rattray in terms of power and effectiveness on that right side. But Rattray a little more explosive, maybe, a little harder to defend. Hoyt through the middle, wide. Tries to go around the block and runs out of court. Josh Duarte with the ball. Tied again now, 13 all. And his jumper goes way long. 14-13 Utah Stingers advantage. Zebra's floater, also long. Trading service errors. And now a serving substitution. Our camp coming in front row, and Alderman coming in a double sub right now. Alderman, another setter for San Diego, coming in to serve. Our camp coming in the front row. He will take those back row hands.
Hasn't played a point of volleyball since warming up.
Nope.
No, 2 hours ago.
An interesting choice. Well passed, right side. Mency blocked down by Berge. Tried to sneak it through, but no sneaking there. Berge and Ofoha combining for that stuff down. Alderman serve, passed well. Right side, Mency catches the hands of Alderman in the back row. Ball might have been sailing out.
Yeah, it looked as if that ball was going to get out of bounds, but Alderman tried to play it.
And there's no undoing of the double sub. Both right side and setter staying in. So maybe another effort at conservation of energy, keeping both guys rested and warm at the same time in our camp in Rattray. And that misserve takes us to our technical timeout. San Diego Wild up 16-15 here in set number 4. We'll be right back. And we're back here, set number 4. San Diego Wild up 16-15 and up 2-1 in this match. Berge's jump serve goes in the tape. a timely timeout for the Stingers. I know it was a technical timeout,
It was a
but
technical
it
timeout.
worked out in their favor. Still timely. Trying to give Russ more credit after that challenge call. Middle set. Ofoha puts it away. Sort of a high one, maybe even a 2 for Ofoha. Just give him some more time, let him get up there and reach it. 17-16 San Diego. Ofoha elects for that more traditional float. Scooped out of the net. Out of system, Ofoha takes second hands. Rosa keeps it alive, but it sails out of bounds. Uchenna Ofoha marked the assist down on his stat sheet.
He wanted it too. He made sure everyone got out of his way. He said, I'm setting this ball with my hands. Put up a pretty good set.
There are few opportunities for middle to set, and even fewer to set from the back row. So he jumped on that one. Another float, tight pass, and put down by Auerkamp. Had his hands all over that one.
Wild pulling away. 3 very important points now for them. They can see the finish line, Noah. Can they get there?
It's right in front of them. They smell the honey brewing. Great pass by Rosa. Outside. Romero's stuff kept alive. Miscommunication. Rosa just sends it over. And just a little quick set dump. And Duarte finds open court. Puts it in the campfire or the donut hole, sink, whatever you prefer to call it. Gives his team a 20-16 lead here in set number 4. We'll be right back. Back here at Long Beach City College, San Diego up 20-16 in set number 4 against the Utah Stingers. First round of the NVA playoffs. Chilton, quick set. Romero finds the angle. Well executed play out of the timeout. But a lot of work to do. Down 3 points. Win or go home match right here. Rohina's serve. Set to Auerkamp. Off the hands. And Rohina can't keep it alive. He had a beat on it. Couldn't get a solid hand underneath. And now the double sub is undone. Full rotation around. Griebenau coming back in to serve. Rattray back in the front row. 21-17. Griebenau's float. Short pass. Romero goes off the hands. Picked up. Jump set from Eisenberg. And put down for Rattray. What a combination. Rattray going OT, finding that open court. 22-17, the lead grows. Low set, Mency puts it over. Free ball chance. Karlzig rides the net, no block touch. Point for the Stingers. Stingers get the point, but San Diego starting to sense it. Just 3 points away from moving on. Outside set, sailing out, but touched by Sam Coburn off his hands. It's one of those situational awareness. Know where your feet are, know where your head is. If you're standing on the end line, that ball's out. Maybe you saw a touch on the block.
Maybe saw a touch on the block. Hard to say. But you're right, no.
Karlzig, 23-18. Right side, and stuffed, but out of bounds off the hands of Berge. And down 4 points, 23-19. If there's anyone you want back at the line, it's a Nova Romero. He can change the attitude of this game and the outcome real quick.
It's going to be a big ask. Let's see if he's up for it.
Match and season on the line. Rips it off tape. Rattray off hands, kept alive by Rosa. Big attack, and misses it wide. Setting up match point for the San Diego Wild. Serving sub here for match point. Schaefer coming in for Duarte. Schaefer with the jump. Off the tape. Just kept alive for the Stingers. Chance for San Diego to end it. And Rattray detonates, and it sails out of bounds. That's how it ends. San Diego with their first ever playoff victory here in the NVA. End it 25-19 off the hands of Brandon Rattray. San Diego, one of our 2 expansion teams here to make the playoffs, winning their first round, advancing into the semifinals, the American semifinals.
Well, congratulations indeed to San Diego Wild, their first year in existence, getting a quarterfinal victory, punching their ticket to the semifinals. They'll face the winner of either the Las Vegas Ramblers or the Inland Empire Matadors. That match will take place later today.
Coming up next, we have a familiar match for you. We have the OC Stunners and the New Jersey Freedom. Divisional rival match, as we mentioned. Let's give the credit where the credit is due. San Diego fighting through some adversity, dropping a set, second set of this match, down one of their stars in Matt Knigge, finding a way to win, changing some position players, getting Auerkamp in there, out of there. Same with Rattray. Karlzig coming in, stepping up, being huge for his team when they needed him, and pulling out the 3-1 victory.
They really played a very well-rounded match. You know, they started off a little bit slow, as both teams did, especially through the middle. Right, Noah, we talked about it several times, getting Josh Duarte and Uchenna Ofoha activated. But once they started to pass the ball a little bit better, get their middles activated on the offensive side, get some point production through those guys, that sort of got them uplifted a little bit and really helped the all-around cause. A solid fight put up by the Stingers, good service pressure, a couple of aces by Nova Romero. Mencia seemed to kind of cool down as the match went on. Not a lot of middle activity for the Stingers as well, and unfortunately for them, their season comes to a close. And on the other side of the net, as you can see here, the Wilds will celebrate their victory. But you know, Coach Nick England will have a lot of strategy, a lot of video to break down on their next opponent, and they should be very excited at this opportunity to move into the semifinals here in the NVA Championship weekend.
And a difference maker in this match, maybe you said that middle attack, but also that middle blocking presence. Uchenna Ofoha doing big things to really establish that defensive block. And it was a fantastic match by this Wild team, really fighting through it, doing whatever they needed to do. We had Brandon Rattray subbing in, subbing out. We had Joel Auerkamp. We had Sam Berge crashing into walls, crashing into his bench, doing everything he could for his team to really earn this victory for him. And you know what? Sam Berge is our man of the match. We're going to send it down to Haley Henderson, who stands by with Sam Berge. Haley?
We have man of the match here, Sam Berge. You took quite a big fall in the middle of set 3, but it's that relentless pursuit that got you guys the win today. What were your thoughts going into this game today?
We were just, we had played the Stingers the last time we saw them, and we lost to them, and we just knew what we had to do to come back. We had to sit a little deeper in 6 and be more disciplined on the block and the serve and pass. And I think everybody just did their job to the best of their ability, and we just did what we had to do.
Gotcha. You had 11 kills and 1 block today. What were your thoughts on offense?
I was just trying to be crafty and be a little unpredictable. I know I'm not the biggest cannon on the arm. I'll give that to Rattray. So, I just do my best to stay consistent and keep the ball in play and try to find the floor.
Well, great job and congratulations. Good job. Back to you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Haley, for that insight here with our man of the match, Sam Berge. Just tremendous effort. Something you love to see, that effort, diving into the walls, diving into his own bench, doing everything he could, winning this one for his team along with the efforts of his middles, of his pin hitters, the setters. Really a full team win for San Diego.
Yeah, all in all, a good, well-rounded match for the Wild. They can tighten up a couple more things like we talked about through the middle. Good service pressure. Our camp overhead was good, and then Rattray coming in at the opposite position as well adds a new wrinkle to their offense. Look for more of that tomorrow.
And a great start for this NVA championship weekend here in Long Beach City College. A great win, an exciting battle, that third set or second set. Back and forth third set it was, 32-30. And we have a lot of exciting volleyball here to come. I know you got to get busy, your OC Stunners, taking on the New Jersey Freedom, 1 p.m. Pacific time, a divisional rubber match here in the playoffs, trying to get to the semifinals. For Matt Prosser, Haley Henderson, I'm Noah Chast. You've been watching the NBA. We'll see you back at 1 p.m. here in Long Beach.